Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. I'm Billy, the host. Welcome back to the show. 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 I'm Billy, the host.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Billy, the host. We're joined today by producer Trent Ludzack.
Hello.
We're in the beautiful Trent's Unnamed studio in Marietta, Georgia. And we're joined today by our very special guest, Mike Cohen.
Thank you.
Or should I say, the Urethane Kingpin.
That's just one of the many aliases.
Well, we were just talking right before this started about like the feeling of like killing a set kind of being like a drug in a way, where you're now chasing the dragon of like, oh, that felt really good. Like, this guy came up to me after the show and was like, dude, I loved your joke about blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, somebody actually got it.
Yeah.
And that feeling is like something I almost didn't even know existed.
You know, sometimes it's like the most obscure part of a joke you're trying to tell that you didn't even think was funny. Someone will tell you, they'll go, oh, you need to go harder on this.
Yeah.
Plug Chapman's been great about that. He'll tell me little things like, hey, don't do too much of this. Pay attention to this or whatever. I love that. Yeah, he's awesome. He's definitely been pivotal in my start in this.
So before you started stand-up comedy, you had a very successful career in what I don't really understand, but I think is auto body paint.
Yeah, so basically, long story short, I've grown up in the automotive repair business my whole life. My dad's owned repair shops my whole life. And, you know, he always took my brothers to the shop with him, showed them how to turn wrenches, and would try to do that with me. But I absolutely hated grease and oil and busted knuckles. Yeah. And at like 15, 16, I went into a body shop and I was like, man, I don't want to turn wrenches, but I could do this. Because I'm a custom car guy. My whole family, we're all car folks. And one thing led to another, and I've basically worked in and out of body shops for the last 28 years.
What's your favorite car?
Oh, geez. Like my dream car or just in general today? That's two different questions.
Okay. Well, I guess like two different categories, like sports car versus what you would actually buy.
Yeah, I mean, I would actually buy the new Corvette, the new C8. Okay. That thing's insane. It's the best supercar you could buy for under $120,000.
See, when I was valeting, I didn't like driving those cars because you're like so low to the ground, and then the fenders, I don't know how far out they go. Or
I'm not sure I would even fit in one, to be honest with you. I just say that as a loose answer.
I'm like, where's the backup camera on this thing, man?
But if I was going to build like a custom whatever, I'm a 61, early 60 Chevy Impala guy. I love old school Chevys. That's my that or Cadillacs. Yeah, absolutely. I've had everyone asks about the Cadillac tattoos. I've had 18 Cadillacs over my years.
That's what's up. I played Grand Theft Auto a lot.
So close, similar.
Yeah.
That's just like my life in South Florida.
Same life, man. Dude, I know where all the spots are. The Burger Shot.
Yeah.
CJ's house.
You were robbing hookers.
The train. Yeah. Yeah. Vice City, man. I go back to Vice City. We can go to Miami. I'll know exactly where we're going.
Yeah. That's funny, man. Me and my wife played that when we were younger coming up, man. That was when we played video games. I haven't played a video game since, I'm going to say, PlayStation 2.
Are you serious?
I swear to you.
Dude.
But I have kids I'm buying video games for, you know?
But you're from California?
I was originally born in California.
Have you not played Grand Theft Auto 5?
I've played. Well,
that's like the best game ever.
Which one was 5? Was it?
Was
the V
in Los Angeles.
Yes, I played that with my son. Vaguely, I think it was on Xbox or 360, one of the two. I probably played that with him for a little bit, but seriously, playing video game stations, probably PlayStation 2.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
because it looks just like LA. The map. There's all the spots. There's the Comedy Store there, and there's Hollywood. And but I play that game so I can cope with real life. You know, I'm broke in real life, but on GTA I got a jet.
Yeah,
I got a military bunker.
Yeah, you got a helicopter somewhere, right?
You know what I'm saying? Luxury apartment. nice office in a skyscraper.
So you're not actually running missions for the big boss?
Dude, I'm just relaxing. I'm sitting by the pool.
I don't
I
understand
go to
video
the
games
casino
today.
and I gamble in that game.
I don't understand video games today. I ask my son all the time about the games he plays, and honestly, I can't figure them out. I mean, I watch him for a few minutes, and
Yeah.
I'm bored quick.
It's probably a good thing. It's a giant time waster for me.
I'd love to see him do something other than video games with his free time.
It's something I play to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
I like chat with my friends online while I'm playing. We play the games together. But yeah, I spend a lot of time doing. And when I look at the time I've logged in certain games, I'm like, imagine if I had put that into a skill.
When he was 13, we bought him the Xbox Live and all that crap. He's 19 now. He's in college already. But when he was 13, we bought him Xbox Live. We kind of held up a while just because, I set the stage ahead of time. I said, look, man, we're going to get you this. We're going to get you the headset. I just want you to know ahead of time there's going to be a lot of people talking a lot of shit about your mother. And they don't know her. I promise you, they don't know her.
Okay, what era was he on Xbox? When did he graduate high school?
He just graduated last year. So
okay.
he's technically now a sophomore at KSU.
They've toned it down a little.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But when he first got the headset, it was still
you could have joined
your mom's
Al-Qaeda
a whore and
when
all
I
that
was
craziness.
on,
What's that?
You could have joined Al Qaeda before before they caught on.
It only took him about a year and a half, and he got rid of the headset. He got rid of the mic. He doesn't talk to anyone online when he's playing.
That's good.
Yeah, you don't want him to hear the N-word too early.
Yes. No. I think that's coming at everyone.
If you go
too
to
early
public
now.
school, you're going to hear it either way.
What's worse is I grew up in South Florida, which is a melting pot, right? I mean, and when the little town I grew up in north of Palm Beach, we had the head of the Ku Klux Klan in our town, and they literally rioted in front of our high school.
That's crazy.
I mean, my father, because I'm Jewish, me and my brothers are Jewish, had us sneak out the back of the school and down the railroad tracks to get the hell out of the school one time because they had 60 Klan members in full robes out front of our high school. And I'm going, none of that exists today.
Yeah.
And thank God, right? But, everyone's talking about the racism and this and that. And, you said the N-word, but I don't hear any of that. I don't see any of that. I mean, it's wild. Maybe I'm sheltered. I don't know.
You still hear it sometimes. They're just like more secretive about it now. There's still racists out there. And
I'm sure there are, but
racist organizations.
have you drove through Alabama anytime recently?
Yeah. Dude, what is it? You go to like Florida and there's just a giant
that's
Confederate flag,
like in Gainesville or something,
painted on the side of the building. It's like this is not normal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that still exists some places here too, but
for the most part around Atlanta, it's pretty good. You don't see
no. I mean,
the old.
We talk about that like at Varner's with E. Craig and them guys all the time. I'm encouraged by being around all those guys, man. It's so awesome.
You ever heard
from back home? Like I joke about it all the time. Me and my two Jewish brothers, we didn't have any white friends growing up. All of our friends were like every ethnicity, And coming here, I'm just like, I don't see this racism that they're talking about all the time. And most of those guys are like,
You ever been to the store in Kennesaw? He's like this old man. He got the store like somehow classified as a museum.
Really?
And he sells like Confederate flags.
Oh, that's gross. Yeah, that's
like they call it like Civil War like history or something, but it's all like insanity in there. And I've never been in there, but I've heard stories.
You've heard?
From people. Well, okay. Well, we used to hang out at this music venue, and we were like punk kids, and some of my friends who were black decided they were going to go in there.
Well, the Klan leader, I don't know what his official title was. He was like the Grand Poobah of the Klan. His name was J.D. Alder, and he was in our hometown, Port St. Lucie. And there was a phone number these guys would call every day for like their daily update. And it was written all over the I'm dating myself here, but all over the payphones. It was everywhere down there. And the rest of us, we would call it just to see what the daily message was, but it was pretty sick stuff that you used to hear on there.
Nuts, man.
Yeah. Jerry Springer came to our town and filmed a show from our town because there was so much animosity. And one of my best friends, Rudy, was on his show, it all started because of a white girl dating a black guy, and it just spawned out of control. And like before you knew it, he had to come to Fort Pierce to film an episode of Jerry Springer.
That's crazy. So your parents are Jewish, and then they said, let's move to the most racist town in
No
Florida.
kidding. Yeah, I don't know what my dad was thinking, but basically, and everyone's talking about anti-Semitism today, but they're not talking about what it was like 30 years ago. Man, we had pennies thrown at us on the school bus. We had bagels thrown at us like it was funny and stuff. But me and my brothers, we all grew into the men we needed to be to defend ourselves when we were kids.
In Marietta, Georgia, like in high school and stuff, I didn't see a lot of racism. But at the same time, like Dave Chappelle was out and like Mind of Mencia was out when I was in middle school. So they used to do this game called Race Wars where all of the 8th graders would fight each other before the buses came.
At a school.
And it was like prison gang style. But
This is legitimate.
But it was for fun. Like
For fun.
Everybody
Let's
was
have a
in on it.
pretend race war at a high school. That's
This
awesome.
is a real thing. No, this was middle school.
Middle school.
So
Either way.
it was all good fun.
That's
we
a
used
really funny bit.
we used to have bathroom fight club. I'm not making this up. I promise.
That's
I would
wild.
not. This was Marietta, Georgia. You can imagine. There's some things left behind from the old ghosts. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? So we would have race wars, but it was never in bad faith. Like it was like, we've heard about this. We want to try it at home.
That's crazy.
You see the jackass guys roll off a roof in a shopping cart. You want to do it too?
That's not what I'm signing up for.
I'm gonna have to get the principal from the middle school to come on the show now and confirm that we did have race wars.
Was he presiding or something?
I think he was with the Mexicans.
Okay, cool. So
He was.
everybody was taking sides.
There was
But you guys had the gym teacher.
There was
so
a
you were
couple
good.
kids in my middle school who told me they joined gangs, but I think they were just like playing.
Oh, no, we definitely had legitimate gangs in my town, but, like, you knew who those folks were, and they typically weren't very good at school, and they got themselves removed pretty quickly. But, no, we never had anything like that. We did have black-on-black race wars. There was a big Haitian versus black race war at our school where they found, 12 guns on the roof of the school. They all ditched them and ran.
That's nice.
It was pretty wild, yeah.
Guns.
And our
man.
principal got stabbed.
We never had weapons. Or
No.
anything
It
like
was
that.
Fort Pierce. If you look it up, it's one of the most violent cities in Florida. But it's because there's such a high poverty
How do
rate
you
there.
spell that?
We had bathroom fight club.
FORTPIERCE.
But when I tell you, like, every boy was involved in bathroom fight club, it didn't matter if you were like the football player, the nerdy kid. Everybody was getting in there because we all watched that movie, Fight Club.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, this will be cool and fun. Like the anime kids were fighting in the bathroom. They were doing like special moves and stuff like that.
Nobody was into anime when I was in high school, but I'm obviously a lot older than you,
missed
man.
it.
Yeah, no. When I was in high school, kids still cared about cars. That's like kids that they don't care about cars. Cars are nothing to them. Like my son's 19 in college. He doesn't even have a driver's license.
Cars. Don't you care
he could
about
care
the
less.
environment, Dad?
He'll have an Uber app on his phone. He don't care whatsoever about driving.
Well, why not?
Dude,
I always liked to drive.
I was working on building my own car at 14, 15 because I wanted freedom.
Yeah.
My son could care less.
I used to steal my parents, or I used to steal my brother's old car to go to GameStop so I could buy video games when I was 15.
My idiot older brother stole a car one time and wrecked it through a garage wall of a house.
That's crazy.
And got arrested, and my dad had to pick him up from the scene. He thought my dad was going to kill him, which,
The kids aren't stealing cars anymore, man.
No.
What's wrong with them?
no. Well, they don't know how to drive stick shift either.
Maybe kids shouldn't have cars.
Yeah.
You really kind of sold me the other way there.
I guess no. I had to get to GameStop, man. Halo 2 was coming out.
Bro, I had a motorcycle at 18, and I was so irresponsible.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
Well, you're alive. What are you complaining about? Did you ever get into motorcycles?
No, I was really just a custom car lowrider type guy. I mean, I built lowriders and custom cars over South Florida for 20 years, man. And
So the paint, but you make a specific kind of paint. Is that what happens? You make the paint? Or
no,
you just
so
paint
today I'm a product brand manager for a paint company. So I oversee a brand of product.
and they make the paint.
No. We have manufacturers all over the world that make product for us,
Okay.
and then we distribute it nationally. But I am a painter by trade. That's what got me into all of that. And that social media profile you referenced, I just use that. It started out as a way for me to create network and connection with fellow people in my industry. And then it just kind of spiraled out of control, took a life of its own. And I really wanted to use it to inspire other people in the blue collar trades, just to show them like there's more to life. You don't have to just be a mechanic, a car painter, a welder, or whatever. You can work your way up. Like I'm at this point in my career, and I'm fully transparent about it. I have zero college education. I mean,
That's what's up.
I have a high school diploma and basically 28 years of the School of Hard Knocks, just learning and applying myself. But
I'm a certified college dropout.
yeah. Well, I've tried a couple courses here and there, but I'm just not a good student. I was never good with classes, books. I'm not good with fluorescent lighting, man. I get in a room with fluorescent lighting and all of a sudden I get sleepy.
I like the idea of being a scholar, but I can't do it. I gotta be out in the world, like experiencing life and stuff.
My son's the exact opposite of that. Like, having him help us around the property down in Noonan and do different manual labor type tasks.
Yeah.
He sees that and it reminds him every time of why he's going to college, because he wants nothing to do with physical labor. He's doing calculus and chemistry and this and that, and I'm like, I couldn't help him with his homework once he was past the 5th grade. I'm like, dude, you're on your own. But
I fell in love with shows at a young age. I wanted to get out of the house. That was part of it. I wanted to go somewhere. I found out that lots of cute girls liked to go to shows where bands were playing.
Yeah.
So I started going there. And then I was like, well, this is cool. And I like music. I want to do this. And so I was always just like out and about. And that's kind of like, I went there to talk to girls, but then I met a bunch of friends and like cool people and interesting people.
You've been in Marietta your whole life?
Yeah.
Have you ever lived anywhere else?
No.
Really?
I've been on tours and stuff a lot.
Yeah, so you've
to
seen
a lot
other parts of the
different
country.
places,
But yeah, I've traveled the whole country for work, and I've worked all over the place from Anchorage to Rhode Island to the UK and Mexico. But as far as living, born in California, raised in South Florida, and me and my wife relocated to Atlanta 9 years ago, and I'm the only person in my family that left Florida.
I started my band after high school. Everybody was from Marietta.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of them went to my high school, and then like the summer after high school, I started that, and then we were playing around town. There was a venue here in Marietta we would play at a lot, Swayze's. And,
Not Claremont?
No, never played the Claremont. Been there.
Yeah, I'm sure. It seems like everybody's been there.
But
I've heard horror stories.
then a lot of our friends were touring and stuff, and so we started touring. We got a van, and we did the whole East Coast. So I've been, Boston, New York, Philadelphia.
What was the name of the band?
We were called Like Mike.
Like Mike. And what was the lead singer, Mike? Or?
We're like a pop punk band.
Okay.
No, our friend just came up with it. He said it'd be a good pop punk band.
What exactly is pop punk, if you had to describe it?
For like mainstream listeners, Blink-182
Okay.
would be the biggest example. So similar to that.
Okay. I didn't realize that's pop punk.
Yeah. That was kind of one of the earlier pop
Like
punk
mainstream
bands,
punk.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's like punk music with catchy beats or catchy vocals.
So you were like Machine Gun Kelly ahead of his time, though.
Don't get me started.
My bad, man.
Don't get me started.
That guy, he's like a genital wart that won't go away, man.
I think it's just like, I think the problem is it's just, I don't want to talk bad about anybody.
No.
But
I'm just
the
being
problem I
funny.
have with it is like pop punk music is kind of a small.
Oh, he's back to
niche
rapping now. So
genre, right? And it's like, don't appropriate my culture, dog. And there's so many sick pop punk artists out there. It feels very like self-masturbatory. Like, oh, I'm just gonna do the emo pop punk band thing, and then if you don't like it, then you just don't get it. That's how we emo pop punk kids are. And it's like, no, you're not one of them. So why are you pretending to be?
Well, you got to give him credit. Randomly, he sold millions of records and made a ton of money on tour and
Sure.
got a ton of publicity. But he's
That-
back to rapping now. So
That's the Los Angeles comedy scene.
What do
Or,
you mean?
I mean, music scene.
really,
Because whatever they want to force feed you is what you're going to take
Yeah,
for a
I
lot
mean-
of people.
I don't buy into the mainstream BS. I don't listen to any of that really. I don't pay attention to it.
I got into like alternative music when I took like CDs from my brother's room, mostly that his girlfriend at the time would get him, and they were like Fall Out Boy, Newfound Glory, like My Chemical Romance and
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
those would be like pop punk bands.
Yeah, no, some of that stuff's good for sure.
And so I never cared about like mainstream radio. I never really listened to what was on the radio.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I actually listened to a radio station.
Every time I turn on like whatever the like rock guitar music stations are or whatever, they're playing like the Beatles or like Imagine Dragons or like
That's a hell of a jump.
well, you know.
If we're being honest, that seems like a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, well, different stations, you know. Like,
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not imagining one station as the Beatles and Imagine Dragons.
Well, it's either like classic rock or this like mainstream
Yeah.
new wave rock, and they used to play like I guess like Hoobastank a lot.
Hoobastank.
You ever get the stank out?
Not lately.
You ever stank some hoob?
It's been a minute.
It's been a while. Yeah, so okay. I did want to talk about the Instagram thing. How did you get involved in social media? Like, because you did pretty good.
Yeah, and that's actually my my second iteration of it. I had another profile years ago, and I had left a company, and we mutually agreed to part ways, and I agreed to delete and start over just to move forward. And so I restarted about 4 years ago. So that's completely from zero again after about 4 years. And it started, like I said, just because I was networking with other people in my industry around the country, and just I go to SEMA every year,
Yeah.
which is the biggest automotive aftermarket trade show in Las Vegas. There's hundreds of thousands of people in Vegas for SEMA. It's the second largest convention they have out there behind IES.
Okay.
And
For
I s-
automotive,
yeah,
like body stuff.
yeah. Well, it's
specifically?
anything. No, it's wheels, tires,
Okay.
suspension, replacement parts. There is a paint and body custom section, but you see a lot of these like TV car painters and car builders like Chip Foose and Dave Kindig and all those guys. They're all at SEMA.
Okay.
Jay Leno will be out there because he's a big car guy. But I started meeting all these
NAMM
folks.
is the one for music.
What is it?
NAMM, NAMM.
I don't know.
It's like a big convention for all the new guitars and gear and keyboards and drums and all that.
So it's like an instrument convention.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much. Or industry stuff.
And where do they have that? Vegas?
Look
Seems
up
like all the big ones are in
NAMM.
Vegas now.
Yeah, Skankfest is in Vegas.
Yeah. Have you ever gone?
Trent went
Really?
last year.
I'd love to go.
Dude, Khaled El
Yeah,
Chufi
they're only
performed.
doing it.
Really?
I got to watch him pick up a room that was not doing well
Khaled?
yet for the day. Yeah,
Shouts
'Cause
out to
I saw
Khaled
him,
El Chufi.
I've seen him a couple times. He's funny as hell.
He is NAMM.
NAMM.
Ma'am.
That's what I thought you said.
There we go.
Nam.
Nam.
Believe in music.
I could believe it was in like Nashville.
It
Maybe.
looks like it'd be in Vegas. with
It
the
does
palm
look
trees.
like Vegas.
Vegas just redid their whole convention center out there too. It's huge now.
And okay, so you were going to convention centers. Is that what you say really helped you grow your brand?
No.
Or was there something you did that was like...
So realistically, it was just it's gonna be funny. I started branding everything I posted with my own logo, and because a lot of stuff gets reshared and reposted, and,
Right.
and everything I did, I made sure that everyone who was paying attention knew that like I was doing this to help those folks in our industry, right? Like in my comedy, I don't hardly ever joke about blue collar because there's some comedians who beat that theme like a dead horse. So I leave that alone typically.
There's a whole comedy tour.
Yeah, exactly.
based
So
on it.
I avoid that one really, but
You
it
should
is
talk about
part
it,
of who
man.
I am.
People like it.
Oh no, they love it. I try to intertwine the being Jewish and blue collar together because most people are like, what?
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to control the weather in the banks, not work in auto body shops.
Yeah.
But no, it started really just trying to help people and encourage people, and I started like specific memes that were industry related. What I would get was I was traveling around the country training technicians, whether our own employees or external customers using our products. And they would say things to me like, oh, you don't understand what I got to deal with in LA. You don't understand what goes on in Anchorage.
Yeah.
You don't know what we got to deal with in Amarillo. It's like, no, I do. And it's the exact same thing. Your zip code's different. That's it. And so I started doing these series of like memes, funny memes. And if you're not in the industry or not in the car world, some of them wouldn't make sense to you. But if you are in this industry or in this world of car repair, you would gravitate to those and it would make sense to you. And then what I started to see was they would take that meme and go, oh my God, that just happened to me today.
Right.
Or, oh, I just had that happen yesterday. And then one after another, you'd get people from all walks of life, all corners of the world sharing, reposting, and talking about their experience. So it just created this network. And I started using this hashtag Refinish Family and forever ago, and then that just spiraled out of control to where there's everybody under the sun uses it now. I mean, some guy even created a page around it.
Wow.
I don't care. I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. Just I don't got time to run any more pages.
Right.
I'm not getting paid on Instagram or nothing like that. It was more of I did it because I love it. I do love what I do.
Yeah.
Although it's not as much fun as telling jokes, but it's fun.
So, the memes is really what took off.
Yeah, the memes and just getting to meet folks in person. Like, you meet them online, you start communicating with them, they start DMing you and asking questions. For us, like I'll post a hood or something that I've painted or a custom paint technique that I've done.
Okay.
I'll get 100 messages on where did you get that? How did you do this?
Okay.
So I respond to all of them because when I was coming up in the industry, young, 16 in a body shop, nobody helped me.
Right.
And today, and 20-something years later, I think everyone's starting to help each other. Back then, it used to be, no, I can't teach you that because then you know what you know plus what I know.
Yeah.
Now it's, it's such
That's
a
a good
wild
way of
world.
putting it.
It's everyone's helping everybody. Everyone's it's a community. It really is. And actually, I got to give credit to my friend Miguel who started Refinisher Porn, Refinish Culture. He really started the movement behind all of us online with blue collar and in this trades.
That's kind of
He's
how
got 100,000+ people following his Refinish Porn page, and
the computer world's kind of like that, where it's like, oh, I don't want to show you how I take the viruses off.
exactly,
Then you'll know how to do it.
exactly. It's
And that's how I make money.
it's the and I still see it today. Someone will say, "Oh, well, that's a trade secret." No, it's not. There's no such thing as a trade secret. It's just something that you're not sharing with them.
Yeah.
But you're not the only one who knows that.
That's how the Atlanta comedy open mic calendar
Very
used to
much
be.
so. Very much
A trade
so.
secret.
Yeah. I lean on it a little bit here and there, but that's it. For the most part, I just network with other comedians and find out where they're going and take their word for it.
Dude, it used to be before kind of the old guard change. If you asked another comic like what mics they were hitting that night, they would be like, they would side eye you, like, "What are you asking me that for?
Really?
You gonna come take my spot or something?" Like that's what it felt like.
Yeah,
a lot of the time.
you know what? I'm still trying to figure this all out. Only being a year and a half not quite 2 years into this, but there's still a lot of like clickiness and
it's a social.
But I'm older than most of these
yeah.
people, right?
Yeah,
and I'm not a threat to any of them by no means. But
Right.
I've been around a few people here and there where maybe their name's been on a handful of flyers and they think they've got some pop or something, and you're like,
That's
dude,
funny.
you put your pants on the same way I do, man.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
gonna be in the drive-through line here in 10 minutes ordering a off the dollar menu, man.
That's sad to
There's
me
nothing.
that you've seen that from only being like a year in or
Yeah.
whatever. But, you know, because I try not to be that way at all. Like, I try to be like, here's how you do it. Because it's not easy. It's not like
No.
if I tell you how to do it, you're all of a sudden going to be destroying comedy clubs. And if you are, then good for you, man. 'Cause
Exactly.
everybody kind of has to figure it out on their own
To
time.
me, I'm a like-minded person. Whereas as long as everyone's having fun, high tides raise all ships, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that to me is I've never held back. And when I see those, most typically they're younger folks that maybe they've gotten a little notoriety or something, and you've met them before, you've talked to them before, and the next time you talk to them, they're just like, oh yeah, and then they just like, whoa, all right, I get it, you're cool, man, whatever.
But I
And
get so
I don't let it
mad.
bother me, man, because honestly, at the end of the day, I'm gonna go home to my wife and my home, and this is just a hobby, man. You know,
Yeah.
like chicken wings ain't paying the bills.
I get so mad when comics that are very immature, in my opinion, personal opinion, in a like theater professionalism way, start like popping off, because I'm like, does nobody not care that this person totally disrespects the art form in
Yeah.
a way? And but you can't complain, right?
You know, I think there's different levels of people who are into stand-up comedy, right? Like, again, I'll tell you, I'm new into performing stand-up comedy, but I study comedy. I watch comedy my wife, she's ready to kill me. She's tired of watching stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
I say that, and then she buys us tickets to shows all the time. You
Yeah.
know, we've got a slew of tickets lined up to go see different people coming to Atlanta, but
That's cool.
Yeah.
Who you going to see?
well, we got tickets to Burt in September, I think.
Nice.
We got tickets to Tony Hinchcliffe coming
Is
up.
the Burt one the festival again?
No,
or-
he's not coming close with Fully
Okay,
Loaded this
yeah.
year. It's his tops off at the State Farm Arena,
Okay.
and then we got tickets for Tony Hinchcliffe here at the I think it's Cobb Galleria.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
I've been there.
She got us.
I saw Foxworthy there.
oh, jeez.
I
Was
saw
that?
I saw Cosby there
What-
one time.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What, I gotta ask. Was Foxworthy good?
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, I just saw him a few weeks back.
The
and-
crowd was very homogenous.
Yeah.
I'll say
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It was very one type of person.
Yep.
And I did notice that, but I have a friend who gets tickets for things, and he had one ticket, and the show was sold out. There was like, so it's like, who's gonna take one ticket to
Our-
a comedy show? And
Our
I was
best
like, "I'll go."
friends called my wife and said, "Hey, Jeff Foxworthy," you know, that's their idea of going to a comedy show. All right, yeah, whatever. If they're willing to get out of the house and go do something, I'll go do it.
Yeah.
So she bought us tickets, and we went. It was LaGrange, Georgia, in an outdoor amphitheater, and
Okay.
it rained so hard, and the
Oh,
show
man.
was rain or shine. It went on, and I got to tell you, man, he didn't do one new bit,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I sat in the rain for 2.5 hours and didn't see 1 ounce of new material.
Okay. I'm not
Yeah,
real
it was-
familiar with his material,
look,
so I had a good time.
Yo, no.
'Cause
It was.
I
I
don't
think
know
he's
the
definitely a
jokes.
professional, and there was no sense in him wasting good stuff on a crowd that was miserable anyhow. But I went into it going, all right, it's Jeff Foxworthy. Who cares, right? It's like cool. I could check the box and say I've seen him.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have much rather gone to like Ron White's show or
That's
something
when you
like that.
riff it up, though, right?
You should have.
Yeah, Ron White's out there.
Yeah.
Just like
He's having fun. He's talking
hustling,
about
though,
some
yeah.
edgy, fun stuff, man. I love it. I'm there for it. I don't really, different strokes for different folks. I don't ever put down a comedian whatsoever because their comedy doesn't rhyme with me. I hate when somebody goes, "Oh," I hear that about Bert Kreischer a lot. Like, "Oh, I don't like Bert." I think he's hilarious, right?
Oh yeah,
But
he's
it's
great.
your opinion if you don't like them. It's because it's very subjective, right?
It
Comedy
may
is
not
subjective.
be for you.
Yeah.
But you can't deny the guy sells out 10,000 seats.
More than that now. I mean,
Yes.
he's selling out. What is State Farm Arena once he fills the court? Probably 15,000. I mean, they're not even going to open the doors for him for less than 15,000.
Oh man,
So I can't imagine that he's not making money every
And,
night. Matter of fact, I just saw earlier, it looked like
merch.
Catherine Blanford's on his podcast today.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool as
that's
hell.
Nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. I've met her a couple times through the Laughing Skull. She was always sweet, man, and super freaking
Yeah,
funny.
it'll be cool to see Bert talk over her for an hour.
Yeah. Hey, look, I never said he
Hey,
was a good
man.
podcast host. That's
I think
for sure.
Bert is perfect in every way, and if he ever needs a merch guy again, you know, I think everything he does is the best, and he has never done anything wrong in his entire life. He's hilarious. I love every single one of his jokes.
And that checks out. And that was Billy Willig auditioning for a job at the Fully Loaded Festival.
And if you ever need another guy to go on tour and sell T-shirts,
How much fun was that, though? Because you got to see some of the best of the best for like 4 weeks, right?
that was awesome.
Yeah.
But the method of travel, it sucked because we were in a box truck
Yeah, that blows.
with all the merch, and there was nowhere to sleep in that thing.
You had to sleep in the box truck?
Well, there wasn't anywhere to sleep while we were driving, so I would only get like 2 hours of sleep every night.
Yeah,
and
that's
it
horrible.
Sucked ass. But I had a good time.
I mean, this you don't
I
have
ate
to
3
answer
meals
this.
a
Did
day.
it pay good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
It was a big production, and I wasn't hired by Burt Kreischer. I was hired by
Yeah.
a company.
There's a
that does
production company that puts it
Yeah.
all on. Yeah, I'm sure of that. We, my wife bought us tickets to that one too, and we went to the one in Gwinnett, and I think it was Norman and Gillis and Glazer, and it was a really good show, man, all the way around. I mean,
Yeah.
actually, Bert
The
came
Gwinnett
on.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah. I was selling T-shirts.
we bought T-shirts there too.
Did you
so
buy them from me?
I have no clue, man.
Did you tip?
Honestly, I know my wife definitely tipped for sure. She's she's frivolous with the money, man. She makes it rain like I print this shit.
So many people would. I don't care if you don't tip, but so many people would just be like, "It's just a T-shirt. I'm not tipping for a T-shirt." I'm
Yeah,
like,
but they don't
I
understand the
don't
work
care,
that
man.
went behind somebody hauling that crap around the
I'm like-
country.
I'm like, yeah, dude. I just drove 8 hours in a box truck, sleeping, sitting up. I don't care.
Me and my wife, we actually hit the road as soon as he started telling the machine story again. I was like, dude, I don't need to see this one more time.
Yeah.
I love him to death. I'm out. We just wanted to beat the traffic because getting back to Noonan at 10
There was
o'clock.
one show that was really cool because I was kind of by the fence. It was a lot of like minor league baseball
Yeah.
fields. I bought a jersey from every single one too.
Did you really? That's cool.
I have all the jerseys, and you could kind of pull up on the street and still see the show. So there was like a whole like crowd of people out on the street. Like firemen were sitting on their truck watching the show. And
Oh,
stuff.
that's cool.
And yeah, that was fun.
Did any of the towns or areas where they were performing have problem with the language over the speakers?
Not that I know of. And the Georgia show was interesting. I think it was Georgia because the ballpark was part of an apartment
Oh,
complex.
yeah, at the back at the outfield.
Yeah, and like all the comics were hanging out at the pool there all day,
Yep. Really?
chilling with the people who lived there.
So they weren't under any guidelines about no using the F word or nothing
Dude,
like that?
everybody was super stoked on it. Like all the venues and stuff were like super nice. All
Yeah.
the people that managed those places. One of the guys I was like that was working there was part of like the prison release system, and he kept asking me to move the boxes so he could like hose down the ground. And I was like, the ground is fine.
He wanted to hose the ground down.
But hey, I did it, because I'm not trying to.
So rolling around the country with that for a few weeks, did it inspire you to go a little harder in comedy because you're like, I want to be up there, I want to be able to do that?
In a way,
Doesn't that encourage you? Like, I look at other people's
Yes.
success like that. Like, I got a great career, I've made a ton of money over my years, I got family, all these wonderful things, but when I see stuff like that, I'm going, man, that is possible.
Yeah.
You know?
It did feel like that. It did feel wow. It's not that far away.
Yeah, because
It's-
they're at the core of who they are and what they're doing, they're no different than you.
And
right?
maybe I don't need the KFC Yum Center with 10,000 seats.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need a small little theater with 300 seats.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
What's the biggest venue you've done so far in comedy?
Let's see. In comedy, That's a tough one. Definitely over 150.
Really?
I did a small theater. It was my show. I sold all the tickets, and it was 150.
Nice.
And yeah, that was fun. But there's not that many theaters around kind of that size, or a lot of them are like 500 seats or something like that.
Yeah.
Or that are open to working with someone they don't know.
How often do you book shows?
I do my own show at Red Hair Brewing now, and that one is 75 seats.
Nice.
And it's kind of semi-monthly.
Cool.
Not every month.
And that's up here in Marietta, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's in Marietta. They also have like a kind of a tap room / Cuban restaurant on the square, and that's about like 25, 30 seats. They do a comedy show in the basement.
That's cool. I think my ultimate goal, me and my wife are working towards, we want to eventually open up our own comedy club down there on the south side.
Okay.
So I think the long-term big picture for us is we want to do something where, it doesn't have to be comedy 7 nights a week, but live entertainment, whether it's music one night, karaoke one night, something. We live in Noonan. There's not much down there as far as entertainment-wise.
I'd love to do something in like the live entertainment field, like run my own spot, have bands play, have comics go up, and really like develop new artists, teach them the ropes, and show them like, here's how you book your own show. Here's how you sell tickets for that show. Here's how you
that's missing in comedy.
Doing this,
that's missing in comedy, to be honest with you.
And in the alternative like band scene in Atlanta, I feel like there's not a lot of support. It's like once the bands pop up here, and then they go off on the road and they tour and they network and they may meet people who want to work with them elsewhere, then everybody in Atlanta just like gets on the hype train for those bands.
Okay. They're good bands coming out of Atlanta right now?
Most definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Like bands you think are going to make it big?
There's a band called Microwave. They're doing big things, and they're local. They sell out the Masquerade when they come home.
Stopping
now.
Pacemakers everywhere?
They signed with Side One Dummy Records out in California. They did like a bunch of the like punk bands. And so that kind of helped them a little, but then they started just touring and getting on the being tour support for other bigger bands.
That's cool.
Left to Suffer is a metal band that's doing they do a lot of the social media stuff really well.
It's interesting how far social media can take a career in entertainment today. Like, if you get a big enough following, I mean, there's TikTokers and Instagram folks that are, I guess technically now they're considered comedians selling out little clubs and theaters and stuff, and you're like, I haven't seen a single thing you've done that's funny necessarily, but they got fans, so
dude,
people are
I
showing up.
suck at social media, I'll be honest.
That's the one thing I've figured out. Like, I technically at the root of my job now is I'm a marketing employee, so I work directly with a team of marketing folks, whether our content creator, she's a creator and content manager, our graphic designer. So yeah, I mean, social media has helped me to get to where I'm at in my own, career outside of comedy. So I try to keep the two separate because obviously that's how I feed my family and put my kids into college.
Yeah.
But the comedy things, like, I get how it works, but honestly, like, for anyone in my shoes that's new into this, like, versus focusing on social media or YouTube or any of that crap, get better first. I think Plug and Manzak gave me advice in the very beginning. They're like, don't post none of your first
You don't have to be good though. You could get 1 million views on a video, and it could be like the
But if you like, number one, I have a hard thing about listening to my own sets. My sound of my own voice makes my skin crawl.
You just got to get over putting cringe out there, because some people, 1 million people might want to cringe at you. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. But I also am not proud of a lot of the stuff I did in the very, very beginning. And I finally feel like I'm starting to get my own little voice and footing and comfortability.
I'm broke.
I'm still doing just open mics, man. I've only been on one book show.
I'm broke, Mike. So. I need to I need to get the 33,000 followers and the blue check mark, man.
You can do it. You just gotta post the right stuff, man. I mean, it seems like you're on shows all the time. Are you recording your sets?
No.
There you go. Problem number one.
You know how much
First thing you need to do is buy a
time
GoPro.
that takes?
It doesn't matter.
Do you know how high I am when I get to this
Well,
shit?
I get that. that's I understand that for sure. You go to the Laughing Skull,
I'm
right?
kidding. Yeah.
Do you pay them to get your set recorded?
I'm not paying those fascists.
Pay them, man. Get that tape. And even if you
Hell
don't
yeah,
post
Billy,
it,
fight the power.
even if you don't post it, you can look back at it.
I'm kidding. Yeah,
And then break it up into clips.
from Laughing School. The hard part is like bringing your own camera and setting it up.
You don't.
and then
It's not crazy,
hooking
man.
up the mic. I can do it. I just don't want to.
Yeah, I look. I'm preaching to you on something I'm not even doing.
I know, and I
I
shouldn't be
record it with my
complaining.
phone every single time. But I have 30 different sets I've just done over the last 2 months or whatever that I haven't listened to at all.
I shouldn't be complaining because I'm the one that asked for advice.
Yeah.
And then you gave it to me. I said, I'm not doing any of that. But the phone I use as a timer or a recording device.
Yeah, I
most of the
record it
time.
every single time.
So I can't record on the phone. I need to just get like a second phone and not even hook it up to a service, but just like have it on, have that thing on me.
What I bought is a GoPro with a media kit, and it just slides in there, and it automatically has a microphone on it.
Dude, the GoPro.
So you could just
though,
set it on a table or whatever and go.
I used to have a GoPro, but I lost it in a wakeboarding accident, and it sucked ass in the low light at some of these shows where they don't have like decent lighting, like at Laughing Skull or something.
Yeah, but then you post it in black and white, or you use a filter on it to brighten it up,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Again, I'm just telling you that those are the things right now. Whether it's YouTube, Instagram, whatever, they're rewarding you for short form, short video content.
Right.
So the sweet spot is a 10-second video or a 15-second video. Post 15 seconds of you interacting with the crowd or one part of a joke. Maybe don't give up the whole bit or whatever. But you have to kind of pound that stuff if you really want to grow a social media following. Because
I've been doing it just kind of reluctantly.
yeah,
then when you walk in the bar, you got a tripod and a camera. I have like a decent camera now because I got one for this purpose. And then the more I do it, the more I hate it.
what do you just record all this with those little like
Those are
webcams?
the 4K Logitech webcams.
Okay.
And we could upgrade the cameras, but I think this looks good.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine.
This is about as good as it gets before you're getting into the multi hundreds per
Yeah.
camera.
really
Like
Yeah.
multicam production level stuff.
well for I've been thinking about trying to start a podcast with a buddy of mine or whatever, and I really didn't know where to start as far as filming or any of that. But
Dude, this software is called OBS Studio.
Mhm.
You get a little soundboard interface like that. Trent has 4 mics. 4 is a pretty good number. And it has USB out, so that it does the audio and the video at the same time. It's very nice. And then the webcams. If you get like the decent webcams, then that's really all you need.
that's it.
Couple mics. These mics,
I got a couple good
these
mics.
are condenser mics, yeah. So, but you don't really need.
I'm not even sure what brand they are, but decent mics like this. I don't have mic stands or nothing. But
The condenser mics, they make a big difference. They sound better than just the stage handheld
Yeah.
mics.
yeah,
But
this is what I have. Something like this. It's just not on this big arm.
yeah. These arms, they're on Amazon for like $25, but just a basic stand is just as good.
Okay. Well, the premise of the podcast I want to start is I'm going to call Bringing Up Old Shit, where you just talk about what it was like growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
what your favorite cereal was growing up, what your favorite show was after school when you got home.
That sounds
What
fun.
TV family did your actual family model after? Like for me, it was the Bundys type of thing.
Cookie Crisp. Ted Bundy?
No, yeah, okay. Yeah, the Bundys. And the Kevorkians and, who else?
Let's see. Cookie Crisp, Dragon Ball Z, and
Nerd alert.
mostly cartoons.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a lot of sitcoms growing up. I think maybe like Full House.
Really?
I watched a lot because it was on like Nickelodeon or something.
You're really showing your colors here, man.
Full House, The Cosby Show, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's about it.
Tell me you were a virgin into college without telling me you were a virgin into college.
Oh no,
I'm just kidding.
I had a girlfriend in high school.
I think that's what changed everything for me the minute I started getting girlfriends.
I had my first
Nothing else mattered
girlfriend when
after
I was 15. I always knew I liked girls, wanted to talk to them.
Yeah.
That was my main motivation.
Yep.
For
Oh, yeah.
a
Mine
lot
too.
of my
Right at about 14,
career.
15, it was over. Everything else, baseball, band, all that went out the window.
That was really all I wanted to do was whatever girls like it when a guy does, that's what I wanted. I didn't think about the fact that you also have to be like good looking and stuff like that.
Yeah, that never mattered to me, man. I always outkicked my coverage because I was funny or had a nice car.
I wanted a nice car and I wanted be good at the guitar.
What was your
But
first car?
I never got a nice car. My first car was a Toyota Corolla.
Really?
1998. That thing was like, those things are too small, man. It was a death trap.
My first car was a 1986 Pontiac Parisienne.
Okay.
Basically an old Caprice, but with a Pontiac logo on it.
Yeah. I wanted to buy my dad's Firebird, but my mom wouldn't let me.
Oh, yeah.
My mom is very like economic, like budget.
It wasn't very long after
conscious.
that. Then I started putting hydraulics on cars and wire wheels and custom paint and chopping them up left and right.
I was just a fool. I got my car at 16, and then I immediately started going on eBay and just buying like dumb stuff, like
Parts.
headlights. And,
Yeah. You had a chrome crown on
I
the
did have a
dash.
Honda Civic, yeah, and I put the muffler on there.
Oh,
and
you had
everything,
the Bumblebee.
and the wheels,
fart can
and-
muffler?
Yeah.
You were
So-
too fast, too furious.
I was not cool, yeah. Not cool at all.
Yeah, I wasn't much into the import scene. I mean, I painted a lot of those cars. I got a lot of friends who were into that whole scene, but really wasn't my thing.
I found out it was too much money. That was the problem.
I have spent, oh God, hundreds of thousands of dollars on cars over the years. I was just laughing with my brother the other day. I was driving to a spot, and he's like, "What are you driving now?" I'm like, "Oh, I just bought a Sierra. I've been in Georgia 9 years, and I've bought 12 cars."
Nice.
Yeah, not at all.
I used to have the band used to have a 1988 Dodge Ram B250 van.
Really?
And it was a conversion van, and we bought it for $1,800. The five of us put our money together, and the drive shaft flew off at one time. Somehow all the tires had like dry rot when we bought it, or I messed something up. I'm not sure, and all the tires blew on one tour.
On one tour.
Yeah, different days.
You guys didn't
but-
think to like go through all that before you hit the road?
huh?
Yeah, exactly. You didn't like go through the brakes, tires, nothing. You just bought it and hit the road.
None of us knew anything about cars or had any money.
Wow. It was a wing and a prayer, huh? You're just like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna be big. Get in the back of the rape van. We're gonna go be a band.
It became like a running joke that we were gonna break down on tour and be stranded.
and you
on the
did
side
many
of the road.
times.
Every time.
Yeah.
Eventually, like it finally just was like blowing the cooling hoses every time.
Oh, my God.
And so we drifted into a gas station on the side of the highway, and I went inside, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna leave this van here, but I'm gonna come back in a couple days with my car to pick it up because I didn't want to tow it to Georgia. We were in like Kentucky or something like that. So we were close enough to where I could get home. Like Corey's girlfriend came and picked us up and drove us home. And I was like, I'm going to come back for the van. Like, please just don't like tow it to the impound lot. And he was like, well, I'll give you $500 for it. And I'll fix it myself. And I was, the guy whose name the van was in was with me. And I was like, it's going to be more than $500 to tow this thing back to Georgia. And he was like, yeah, we'll take it. We sold the van.
You just left it there and hauled butt.
He gave us $500 and we left the van there forever.
Well, I'll tell you, those are stories of how you became the successful person you are today. It's like,
I'm the
that's
same
as good as it
idiot.
gets. I'm bailing out. I'm out.
I'm the same complete idiot I was that day. I have no idea what I'm doing.
And don't you have a child on the way?
Yeah.
How far out?
2 months basically.
I guarantee you all that goes out the window the minute that baby's born. Boy or girl?
A girl.
Girl. Cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
That all goes out the window. I promise you. Your entire world changes the minute you hold that little girl.
I'm a little
And
nervous about that.
is unaware of everything as you are. You become so hyper aware of life and everything that's around you that you're going to think back to how dumb and naive and irresponsible you were, and you go, how the hell did I make it to 30? Or how the hell did I'm like, I say it to my family all the time, like, how did I live to 44 with the dumb, stupid mistakes? I mean, we used to swim in the water with alligators like idiots. Like, think about it now. People are snatched and gone in a heartbeat. We did it for fun.
I'm a little better than I was, but I'm nervous because my life is kind of very it's been about me for a while, and it's been about getting ahead.
You guys were planning for this, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So my son was whoops.
Okay.
Me and my wife, we weren't married, nothing. We didn't want to have kids, and
wow,
we weren't even sure if we were going to stay together, and
God has
all of
other
a sudden,
plans.
yeah. She's like, she came to me one weekend. The weekend I was actually going to break up with her, and she's like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, what the hell? We were so irresponsible. I mean, I was just
How old
building
were you?
cars. So my son's 19. I was 24.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
so
yeah, I'm
little,
30.
A little
so
ahead of the need, really, but
I think, hey, right on the money, man. It worked out.
yeah, no, for sure. I wouldn't change anything now, but at the time,
Did you have a good job back then? You said
No,
you were
not at
painting
all. I made
cars?
$10 an hour.
Okay.
I was
No
at that
health
point.
insurance or nothing like that?
No, not really. We weren't married, and back then you couldn't
Right.
insure, someone you weren't married to. So, but I ran a paint store down in South Florida then, and what I ended up doing was within my son being a year, I left that job and took a job at the local city, and I went to work doing utilities for about 6.5 years, and it paid the bills. It gave us really good insurance, but it was a shitty job, man. I was pumping septic tanks and grinder tanks, working 24 hours a day during hurricanes, and just doing gross, thankless work. I hated it, but it paid the bills.
And then you said, I'm going to start an Instagram.
No, I got
leave
hurt.
This life behind.
I got hurt on the job. And No. I got hurt on the job, and I herniated 9 discs in my spine. I suffered a spinal cord injury, and they told me to file for disability at 31. And that was, 14 years ago. And
wow.
I said, there's no way I'm going to raise these 2 kids. My daughter was 6 months. He was 5. I said, there's no way I'm going to raise 2 kids on disability. We lost everything because my wife got laid off 30 days later. That was in the middle of the 07, 08 housing crash. So we basically packed up and moved to Georgia then briefly, and I washed my hands of it and went to work back doing what I did, was selling paint, which is what I liked, was working in the automotive paint field, and have never looked back, man. I've done nothing but automotive paint since then.
That's crazy, man.
The comedy thing's just a late in life dream, we'll call it.
Super interesting story, man. I hope you stick with comedy because, like I said, I really like seeing guys like you who are good at lots of different things and have interesting stories out there instead of just like open micers with mental illness. It's nice to see.
There's none of that in the open mic scene.
No. And thanks so much for coming through, man.
Thanks for having me.
This was a great time. We're at about an hour now, so if you want to plug anything you got going on, you got the floor.
No, not really. I'm just Mike C _comedy on Instagram, and working on that, and hopefully start getting on some shows here soon, but still hitting some open mics around Atlanta. So I appreciate it, guys.
Cool. Y'all know where to find me. Peace.